So, what happens when the people who create a crypto project just turn their backs on their own community? Well, today we're diving into an incredible story of betrayal, a full-on digital rebellion, and a community that just flat out refused to be abandoned. This is the story of BNB Tiger OG and how its users took back control. You know, this whole thing really boils down to one huge question at the very heart of decentralized finance. Can you actually trust your crypto? I mean, you put your faith and your money into a project, a team, a vision, but what do you do when that trust is just completely shattered?
Let's be real. The crypto space can often feel like a minefield. We've all heard the horror stories, right? Developer exit scams, those infamous rug pulls where the founders just vanish with everyone's money, contracts that are just left to rot, and even totally fake crises made up to manipulate holders. In an environment like this, trust is an incredibly rare thing.
And that brings us right to the original BNB Tiger token. Now, this thing started out strong. It was gaining thousands of holders, there was a ton of buzz, the community was growing, people were excited, and everything looked great. But, yeah, behind the scenes, the developers had a very different plan in mind.
The first major red flag popped up when the developers proposed migrating to a brand new token. They actually put it to a vote, but the community's response was loud and clear, a massive unified no. They were all in on the original project they had invested in. They didn't want something new.
Okay, now look at the timing here, because this is where it gets really suspicious. Just a couple of days after the community votes no, the developers suddenly claim the marketing wallet was hacked. And then less than 24 hours after that, they announce a forced migration to their new token. This whole sequence of events, it looks less like a crisis and way more like a premeditated plan, doesn't it?
But this is where the story takes a wild turn. Instead of just rolling over and following the developers into a new contract they never wanted, the community decided to stand their ground. This was the start of a true digital rebellion. And let me tell you, their resolve was crystal clear. They didn't just disagree, they got organized. They refused to let the project they believed in get torn down. This wasn't just some angry protest, it was a coordinated effort to seize control of their own digital future.
This kind of move actually has a name. It's called a community takeover, or CTO. Honestly, you can just think of it as a digital mutiny. It's that moment when the token holders, who are the real stakeholders, collectively say, nope, we're in charge now, and cut out the original developers who betrayed them.
So what came out of this takeover? The result is what we now know as BNB Tiger OG, the original token, saved and preserved by its people. It's now completely governed by its community, its contract is immutable, meaning it can't be changed, ever, and it operates with zero interference from those original developers.
This chart really spells it out, doesn't it? In your typical crypto project, the developers hold all the power. They can change the contract, and you just have to trust them not to mess things up. But with BNB Tiger OG, the community is in control. The contract can never, ever be altered. And the whole system is trustless, which doesn't mean you can't trust it. It means you don't have to. It runs on code that's transparent and unchangeable, not on faith in a few people. And we're not talking about some small group of rebels here. This is over 50,000 holders who now collectively own and steer the future of this token. That is decentralization in action on a massive scale. And check this out. This community isn't just sitting back. They are actively investing their own funds. We're talking over $1,000 in community-raised money to market and improve the project they saved. And the result? The holder base just keeps on growing. It shows that this new model of community-led trust is really catching on.
So why should we care about this one token's dramatic story? Well, because it offers a potential answer to one of the biggest problems in DeFi, that whole crisis of trust. This really sets a new benchmark for what a truly community-led project can look like.
When you get right down to it, the value of BNB Tiger OG isn't based on some fancy white paper or the empty promises of a founding team. No, its value is forged in the collective action, the vigilance, and the shared belief of its community. And that, right there, is a foundation built on something way stronger than just hoping a few developers do the right thing.
Now, for anyone who's curious about how to get involved, it's pretty straightforward if you're familiar with the Binance Smart Chain. First, you'll need a compatible wallet. Something like MetaMask is perfect. Next, you deposit some BNB into that wallet. And finally, you just use a decentralized exchange like PancakeSwap to swap your BNB for BNB Tiger OG.
And look, in the spirit of transparency and security that this whole project is about, here is the official contract address. It is absolutely crucial to always double-check this address before you do anything. The community is super clear on this. It's the only way to be 100% sure you're dealing with the real BNB Tiger OG token and not some fake copycat.
So this brings us all the way back to where we started. Can you really trust your crypto? The story of BNB Tiger OG gives us a really compelling alternative. It points to a future where our trust isn't placed in a few individuals who might let us down, but in the collective power of a community and the unbreakable certainty of code. So is this the future of DeFi? Well, that's a question for all of us to think about.